I think the last thing, the action button. So you're going to want this. So, the problem with the action button is that it's a single press, right? It can only
Right.
do one thing, but I knew it wouldn't be too long before somebody came up with some alternatives here. And so Federico Vitici over on Mac Stories came up with a shortcut called multi button. And you can download it straight from him. And trust me, you want to download it from him because when I started looking at how he set that thing up, I was like, oh no, I would have never got there. Um, but I have gone back and forth with it just a little bit. But currently, I've not changed what I did have the camera as the default for a little while. And then I changed it to my scripture study app.
Hmm.
And then the camera was the second press. So basically, what it does is, and you can change the timing parameters on this, but if you press the button once and it runs the shortcut to open my scripture study app, if I press it again within 7 seconds, then it does a different action. If it's more than 7 seconds, it goes back to the original. So, what I have
Okay.
it set to do right now is to open that scripture study app, but on the second press, it pulls up a menu of shortcuts. And I've got one shortcut that opens the camera app, another shortcut that opens a different study aid that I have for when I study in the morning. I've got a
Hmm.
couple other, it's like 4 or 5 shortcuts that are associated with it. So if I press it once, I get my study app. If I press it the second time, then I can just tap on one of those shortcuts and it runs that next set of
Okay.
shortcuts. And in theory, you could have it pull up a menu one and then the second time a different menu and run stuff. So um, they still need to make it so you can double or triple
Right.
press
I think that
stuff.
would be more useful. Right.
Yeah, I do too. But between that and then the back tap, the double back tap, and the triple back tap, I've got some pretty cool stuff that I can do with it. The only other thing about the action button, besides giving us more flexibility in how many times we press it, is it's clear up there on that top left, right? And so,
Right.
for those of you that don't know, if you've got the Max phone, you can get to the top of the screen by swiping down at the bottom, and it pulls the screen down and puts the
Right.
top half of the screen at the bottom so you can interact with it. But you can't do that with a physical hardware button,
Yeah.
right?
The
And I've
button's
got
there.
pretty big hands, but it's still up there a little ways. So I'd like it to be somewhere else. And maybe if they move to non-physical buttons, right, to the haptic touch kind of buttons, they can move it somewhere else. But I actually think it'd be great right below the volume buttons. Might be a good
Right.
spot at, or on the other side with the power and standby button. But yeah, I think it's a great feature. I've got the muscle memory. Sometimes with these features, right, you never break your old muscle memory,
Right.
but
Right.
between rearranging my home screen so that my scripture study app is not on there anywhere and
Yeah.
having that action button set up, that's what I use. So yeah,
Okay.
I like it.
Which is another big reason why I think they didn't move the button, because it would make sense midway in the phone, or midway down the physical body. Also, so they didn't have to change the hardware that much, right? Because it still is the mute and the unmute button by default. But yeah, I think just people with that muscle memory of having that button there all of these years, so just have to adjust the way you hold the phone.
Yep.
Remember back with what was it, iPhone 4 with the antenna, Apple
Yeah,
Series.
you're
Oh no,
holding
you're
it
holding the
wrong.
phone wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're holding your phone wrong now. You have to use that button
Yep.
a different way.